Looking at her eyes, the rich man fell in love. She thought she would have a happy life. However, the nightmare just begun. The man she loved beat her up when he was drunk. How dare you run away? She told him the truth that she was pregnant. Instead of stopping to hurt her, he even hit her more. Who fathered the baby? She was forced her to defend herself, pointing a knife at him. If you dare to hurt me again, I'll stab you. Come if you dare, I challenge you. She fell senseless to the ground. When she woke up, her husband already lost his life. All the evidences said she was the culprit. She feebly claimed that she didn't do it. Her mother-in-law attacked and cursed at her. She didn't fight back. The thing was that she was 8 months pregnant. Her mother-in-law almost caused her a miscarriage. Luckily, her baby was born in safe. However, she was sentenced 10 years to prison. In the cell, she lodged an appeal. She wanted to prove her innocence in the second trial. Her letters were responded. A reporter asked to see her. On the day he visited her, she was beaten up by her inmates. Do you want to die? Both of them would be detained. Why me? That was why she lost a chance to see him. The following day, the reporter came to the scene and found an important clue. The victim died when he lost strength to fight back. The reporter went to see her again, yet his request was rejected. He asked the prison guard to help him deliver a letter to her. However, the letter couldn't find her well. The prison governor threw it into the trash bin. To help her claim her innocence, her father went to the hospital to get her medical record. However, they only recorded her flu. A kind nurse told him that she saw the bruises on Unsu's body. The nurse also agreed to take the stand. On the second trial, she changed her mind. The reporter received a call from his boss. He was asked to urgently interview someone else. Due to the disappearance of the witness, the trial was cancelled. Unsu's father blamed himself for failing to help her. She knew he had tried his best. She suddenly remembered something before he left. There's a reporter who cares about my case. His name is Kang Ji-min. Her father immediately wrote a letter to him. My daughter murdered no one. She was framed. Please meet me. They asked to see each other at a coffee shop. However, Ji-min didn't find Unsu's father there. When Ji-min called, Unsu's father said he had to save her. A car dashed at Unsu's father. Unsu's father was hit to dead. Anything wrong? Both of them liked to stand him up. Unsu felt hopeless when her father was gone. On the other hand, the reporter was suddenly sent abroad. While packing up, he found a letter from Unsu. There were so many coincidences. It was a pity that he couldn't have a chance to talk to her. At that time, Unsu's mother-in-law wanted to take her baby. Because she was her baby's grandma, her baby was her only bloodline, so that she promised to take good care of her. Unsu rejected her mother-in-law. She knew what type of person her mother-in-law was, thus, she wouldn't let her baby live in hell. Once again, she claimed that she didn't murder her husband. She believed that everything would be unraveled one day. Kim Ho-ran didn't buy into Unsu. At night, Unsu's baby had an asthma attack. The doctor said the baby's immune system was very weak. The current environment would make her health worse. Unsu had no choice but to let Ho-ran raise her baby. This decision made her regretful for the whole life. Unsu felt like she lost everything. She wanted to end her life when they were apart. Her husband violently abused her for a long time. Somehow, she was caught for murdering her husband, though she didn't do it. She believed that her death would prove her innocence. However, the rope was broken. Seeing the photo of her daughter, she found the only hope for life. She kept living to see her daughter. 10 years later, the first thing she did was go to her daughter's school. Her daughter didn't realize her, remembering Ho-ran's promise that she would raise Unsu's baby as her heir. Couldn't let her baby know that she was a prisoner. Unsu decided not to tell her daughter who she was. Mom, hearing her daughter's call, she let her guard down. Let's get home. Unsu was so surprised, she had to check it out. Are you insane? Maybe that little girl wasn't her daughter. She wanted to talk to Ho-ran. Who is the little girl in the photos you sent me? Ho-ran said she was daughter of a house helper. Where's my daughter? Ho-ran's answer broke Unsu's heart. You destroyed my son. I didn't need to take care of your daughter. She was sent somewhere we couldn't find. Unsu couldn't stand on her feet hearing it. Ho-ran crushed Unsu's heart. Note this on your mind. If you take anything from someone, you must repay what you have. Unsu lost her mind. She asked Ho-ran where her daughter was. Where's my daughter? The bodyguard kicked her out of there. She kept coming to ask for her daughter's whereabouts, and the bodyguards kicked her out all the time. Feeling helpless, she visited her father's ash. There, she learned that someone offered her late father flowers every year. Thanks to the florist, she could find the one. He was Ho-ran's former secretary. Unsu asked him about her daughter, but he didn't tell her. Something changed after he received a phone call. His son just woke up after a long time in a coma. As he had done many wrongdoings, God was punishing him, so he decided to tell Unsu everything. It was Ho-ran who caused everything, the disappearance of the witness and the torture that her inmates gave her. Ho-ran used his son's life to make him handle Unsu's baby. To pay for his son's hospital fee, he decided to leave her baby by the river. Eun-soo was in a high dudgeon when she heard the truth. "Give me back my daughter, bring her back to me." Eun-soo decided to revenge for her. The secretary Sang-kyu's son was her first target. When she was going to take off his oxygen mask, she suddenly thought of her daughter. Even though she just wanted to protect her daughter. In the end, she spared him, because it was her mother-in-law who caused everything. She lost all her hope. Eun-soo went to see the one who gave her a tough time, Kim Ho-ran, her evil mother-in-law. Eun-soo spied on her on the death anniversary of her son. She waited for Ho-ran in the graveyard. Eun-soo wanted to end her life, endlessly. She pretended to Ho-ran, said she did nothing wrong to her. Eun-soo was determined. Man proposed, God disposed. Ho-ran's bodyguard knocked her senseless. Eun-soo woke up in the hospital. She wanted to make even with Ho-ran. Secretary Lee stopped her. He persuaded her not to confront Ho-ran. You couldn't win her. Eun-soo had nothing left. She had to find Ho-ran for revenge. Out of choice, he decided to tell her more. Your daughter was still alive, actually. He brought her baby to an orphanage in secret and she was adopted. He gave her the address of the adopted parents. He finally found it. She saw a little girl there. Seeing the familiar blanket, Eun-soo was sure that she was her daughter. It was the blanket she made for her baby. It was her love for her baby. When the little girl was coming, Eun-soo gave her a hug. She even burst out crying. It took her 10 years to see her child. When she was so happy, a man shoved her to the ground. Reporter Ji-min adopted her child. He thought she was a bad person. Woo-ju told her father, "Auntie has a child who looks like me, that's why she hugged me." Ji-min took Woo-ju to his car, staring at her child. She felt happy and sad at the same time. She found her daughter, however. She couldn't take her back. She was relieved when her child's adopted parents loved her. Woo-ju's grandpa hung her certificate of merits on the wall where all the eaters could see. Eun-soo followed Woo-ju to the art class. She looked through the window. Eun-soo felt rest assured. It was a motive for her to continue her life. At that time, Ho-ran gave her a call. She said it was easy to end Eun-soo's life. However, she wanted to see Eun-soo living in hell. Ho-ran didn't know that Eun-soo's child was still alive. Eun-soo was enlightened. She decided to become better and see her child again. Eun-soo borrowed Mr. Lee's money to rent a house. She wanted to be Woo-ju's teacher of art. Eun-soo graduated from a school of art and won many prizes. The dean was happy with her. However, Eun-soo wasn't accepted due to her previous conviction. Eun-soo didn't know what to do next. Should she move somewhere else? She had to see Woo-ju first. Eun-soo followed after her child. When Woo-ju felt it hard to breathe, Eun-soo kept her from falling. Woo-ju's asthma recurred. Eun-soo took her to the hospital. Ji-min saw Woo-ju nowhere at home. He went to her friend's home to find her, but she wasn't there. Checking on the camera, he saw a woman following Eun-soo. Ji-min picked up Woo-ju's phone. He was so sure that the female stalker kidnapped her child. Immediately, he went to the police station to report it. Woo-ju's friend called him when she saw Woo-ju at the hospital. He took the police to the hospital. The police wanted to arrest Eun-soo. She said she wasn't the kidnapper. That was everything she could say. Ji-min didn't believe her. She really wanted to tell him she was Woo-ju's biological mother. As Woo-ju was seeing, she tried not to slip her tongue. The police thought Eun-soo was a member of a gang. They were questioning her. Eun-soo denied everything. Another police brought her record to the investigator. Then they knew she had been imprisoned for murder. They didn't buy into her no matter what she said. Woo-ju asked her father where the auntie who took her to the hospital. He said she was under arrest. Woo-ju told her dad what happened. She felt it hard to breathe when she saw Ji-min's ex-wife and the auntie took her to the hospital. Ji-min felt sorry for misunderstanding her. He went to the police station to claim her innocence and apologize to her. Ji-min asked Woo-ju to have a meal with them. That was what she wanted. She bought a nice dress and made a wreath for Woo-ju. When Woo-ju was happy, Eun-soo felt blissful. For the last 10 years, it was what she wished for. Eun-soo decorated the meal and drew a heart shape with the ketchup. Ji-min began to have feelings for her. Eun-soo told him that she studied art. She asked Ji-min where Woo-ju's mother was. He said that they were divorced. Eun-soo was deep in thought. Before leaving, Woo-ju gave Eun-soo a hug and said, "Come to see me at any time you want." Eun-soo decided not to leave this city. She didn't want Woo-ju to live without a mother. In the end, she decided to stay, to become Woo-ju's mother without letting her know the truth. There was only way, which was to marry Ji-min. When she knew where he was heading to on his business trip, she came there before him and pretended like it was just a coincidence. He pulled her against his chest to avoid the crowd. Everything was on her plan. She even tore her sleeve on purpose. Thus, Ji-min lent her his shirt. They mentioned Woo-ju. She asked him about Woo-ju. Ji-min felt much closer to her. Woo-ju said goodbye and returned to the city. Ji-min remembered that she didn't eat anything yet. He wanted to buy her a meal. However, the passenger car already left. When he turned around, he saw Eun-soo over there. Eun-soo explained, I didn't get in the car when you asked me to wait." They smiled at each other, but the hotel was full. Jimin let her stay in his room and he slept in his car. Cho Ul-soo himself, going out to the car to sleep. Ul-soo saw him sitting alone by the beach. She saw him drinking on the shore alone. She went there to give him back his jacket and treated his wound. Her manner moved his heart. Horan sent a man to spy on Eun-soo. Mr. Lee wanted to take the mission. She didn't know that he already took side with Eun-soo. It was Eun-soo who asked him to take the mission. He wouldn't tell Horan the truth what Eun-soo was doing and ensured her safety at the same time. After seeing Eun-soo on his business trip, Jimin gave her the glad eye. Eun-soo didn't move somewhere else. She was putting him on watch. Eun-soo wanted to find another chance to see Jimin. Finally, she got a chance. They encountered each other at a supermarket. Eun-soo said Jimin gave her a courage to stay. She even rented a house nearby. Seeing the ingredients Jimin bought, she knew he wanted to make kimbap. Jimin said Wooju wanted to have it but he didn't know how to cook it, so he was learning to cook it. Eun-soo professed herself a master of kimbap. She said she would teach him. In return, he helped her paint her wall. Eun-soo cleaned the stain of paint on her face. That made his heart flutter. Wooju told her father that she wanted to take extra classes of art. Her painting won the second prize, so she wanted to win the first prize next time. When Jimin went home, Eun-soo was waiting for him. She wanted to give him her painting. Seeing her painting, Wooju was really amazed. They didn't know that she painted so well. Wooju came up with an idea. She wanted Eun-soo to teach her how to paint. Eun-soo was waiting for it. Finally, she could have a chance to be with her daughter. Soon, they could be a family. It wasn't easy. Jimin's ex-wife just returned. She wanted to come back to him. Sae-mi saw he talking with Eun-soo. When teaching Wooju how to draw, Eun-soo asked for her hobbies. When Jimin had to work overtime, he told Wooju to have dinner at her grandma's home. Eun-soo decided to cook dinner for her. They got along well with each other. When the meal was ready, Jimin was surprised when he came home. A new neighbor came to greet Jimin. When Eun-soo turned around, she realized his neighbor was her inmate. Mi-jin was a good person. Eun-soo protected Mi-jin from the other prisoners. Mi-jin was freed from jail sooner than Eun-soo. Eun-soo gave Mi-jin her savings. She hoped Mi-jin would live a good life. Mi-jin couldn't believe in her eyes when she saw Eun-soo. Looking at her eyes, Mi-jin pretended not to know her. After that, Mi-jin asked Eun-soo why she didn't come to find her. Eun-soo told her only friend what she had been through. Thanks to Eun-soo's savings, Mi-jin learned a trade and she opened a shop. Her husband was working as a director at Horan's company. Mi-jin's daughter and Wooju were classmates. Mi-jin told Eun-soo that Wooju was made fun of because she didn't have a mother. Eun-soo felt so bad when she heard it. One day, Eun-soo saw two kids making fun of Wooju. Wooju pretended not to care. However, she cried alone. Wooju wrote on the sand the word mom. She decided to make everyone admire her. Eun-soo called Mi-jin, asking her to help with something. Mi-jin took Eun-soo to see the other mothers. When they needed a teacher for the weekend's extra class, Eun-soo volunteered. Because she was teaching Wooju how to draw, Mi-jin praised Eun-soo's talent, so that everyone agreed. Eun-soo used coffee and fruits to draw. Her unique method interested the kids. The classmates began to admire Wooju for having such an excellent tutor. The girl who won the first prize asked Eun-soo to be her tutor. She even promised to pay Eun-soo more. Eun-soo rejected her because she only taught Wooju. Wooju was very happy about that. Jimin and Wooju really adored Eun-soo. However, Eun-soo's nightmare was coming. When Horan knew Eun-soo was seeing a man, she left a note next to the jar of the ash of Eun-soo's father, asking Eun-soo to see her. She asked Eun-soo, "Why do you want to end my life and take your own? You stopped going to see me as you're busy dating a man, aren't you?" Eun-soo replied, "You want to see me living in hell? I'm living happily instead. You, watch it." Eun-soo then turned around and left. These words made Horan extremely angry. She no longer trusted Secretary Lee, so she sent someone else spying on Eun-soo. However, Mr. Lee just told her half of the truth. He didn't mention the little girl. That made her suspicious of him. Horan realized that Jimin's ex-wife was cooperating with her corporation. She met up with Sae-mi to ask about Jimin. Sae-mi said they adopted Wooju 7 years ago. "How old is your adopted daughter?" 11 years old, same age as Eun-soo's daughter. Eun-soo was happy when Wooju drew her portrait. She didn't know that Horan was watching her from afar. Horan could tell that Mr. Lee had spared Eun-soo's daughter. The grandchild was not dead yet. Mr. Lee showed her the latest photos of Eun-soo. However, he told her nothing about Wooju. He said he thought it wasn't important. As soon as he got out the building, he called Eun-soo. Horan's assistant heard him. She asked her assistant to check into Wooju. They accidentally found the danger themselves. Eun-soo took Wooju to a drawing competition. However, it was held at Horan's company. She wanted to take Wooju out of there. However, they didn't know how to explain, so they took the furthest seat, yet, Horan already saw them. She came towards Eun-soo and talked with Woo-ju instead. Eun-soo felt so insecure. Pulling herself together, she took Woo-ju out of there. Raising her head, she saw her late husband in front of her. She lost her strength. Her husband violently abused her. When she sat there like a lost soul, Mi-jin tried to wake her up. Eun-soo had a high fever. Ji-min took care of her. She began to have feelings for him. When Eun-soo saw him off, a strange man appeared and hugged her. He was her childhood neighbor. Yeon-jun was an adopted child. He was maltreated by his adopted parents. Eun-soo was the only one who warmed his heart. Her appearance in his life was like the sunlight that warmed him up. Yeon-jun was a famous baseball player. He went to find Eun-soo as soon as he returned to the country. God bless him. He finally found her. Currently, he was an ambassador of Horan's brand. He became an important factor in her plan. There was a pick-me girl in Woo-ju's class. She had thirst for attention. She gave Woo-ju some pieces of bread. Poor you, who don't have a mother, take my bread. Woo-ju didn't take it. She said, I have a mother. But you don't have a friend. You've tried to make friends by giving them gifts. No one wants to be your friends though. The pick-me girl told tales to her mother. Eun-soo came to the school after Mi-jin told her about that and encountered the pick-me girl's mother. She didn't hear from both sides, so she blamed Woo-ju for everything. You acted like a motherless child. What she said hurt both Eun-soo and Woo-ju. Eun-soo talked back to the pick-me girl's mother. Your daughter made fun of me first. Do you teach her to act like this? The pick-me girl's mother lashed out at Woo-ju. How dare you to say something like that? Eun-soo appeared and told her to re-educate herself. Eun-soo told Woo-ju, you're right, do not mind her words. Then she took Woo-ju with her. Ji-min's ex-wife saw them. She asked Eun-soo for a talk. Sae-mi required Eun-soo to stay away from Woo-ju and Ji-min either, because she wanted to come back to Ji-min. She was giving Eun-soo a warning. Sae-mi had no idea that Eun-soo was Woo-ju's biological mother. Woo-ju was the whole world to her, thus, she wouldn't step back. Eun-soo replied, you have no right to tell me what to do, because you're his ex-wife. You don't even protect Woo-ju when she was bullied. You didn't dare to show yourself. I'll be a good mother. You don't need to show up again. Sae-mi grew cross. She met Ji-min and told him about Eun-soo. As a result, he rejected her. After this, Ji-min expressed his feelings for Eun-soo. They officially became a couple. Horan asked Mr. Lee to take a DNA test with Woo-ju's hair. She gave Sae-mi the DNA test result, in order to take back her position. Sae-mi decided to associate with Horan. Horan fired Mr. Lee was on Eun-soo's side. Horan paid a man for breaking into Eun-soo's place, to find her DNA to prove that she was Woo-ju's mother. Sae-mi would give Ji-min the evidences. Kim Woong gave Horan the medical records of Woo-ju. Because her asthma recurred, Horan remembered that the prison governor once told her Eun-soo's daughter suffered from asthma. For this reason, Horan was so sure that Eun-soo's child was still alive. Kim found the one whom she asked to take the life of Eun-soo's baby, and sent someone to the orphanage where Woo-ju stayed before being adopted. Secretary Lee knew she would do such a thing. He asked the director of the orphanage not to tell anyone about Woo-ju. It was him who took Woo-ju there. Kim Woong went to the orphanage. The director there said he lost the records of Woo-ju. This made her even more suspicious. She called Ed Sae-mi for a talk and asked her to show the photos of Woo-ju when she was smaller. She didn't recognize her at first. However, when she saw the blanket, she found it very similar. She remembered when she brought Eun-soo's baby home. She saw this blanket wrapped around the baby. She asked Sae-mi if she bought the blanket. Sae-mi said Woo-ju was brought to the orphanage with the blanket. That was why she kept it until then. This time, Horan was so sure that Woo-ju was Eun-soo's daughter and Eun-soo knew it. When Eun-soo picked up Woo-ju from school, Horan went there first. When Horan was about to take Woo-ju go, Eun-soo stopped her. For the sake of her daughter, Eun-soo no longer suffered. However, Horan didn't let Eun-soo know that she knew who Woo-ju was. Horan said she was taking Woo-ju to the reward ceremony. Eun-soo wondered if she had a good intention. She asked Horan to give up. Eun-soo didn't know that Horan already knew the truth. Horan took a chance to get a strand of Woo-ju's hair. Her plan just began. Horan was an evil mother-in-law. To destroy Eun-soo's life, she ordered Mr. Lee to get rid of Woo-ju / she threatened him with his son's life. To protect his son, Mr. Lee had to do what she asked. She didn't want to see Eun-soo happy with Woo-ju. When Mr. Lee agreed, Horan was happy. She called her employees and asked them to take good care of Mr. Lee's son. Ji-min received a mail. It was a photo of Eun-soo and a baby. Seeing the blanket in the photo, he knew the baby was Woo-ju. At that time, Eun-soo called to ask if he came home and if Woo-ju was sleeping. Looking at the photo, he guessed what she wanted. Meanwhile, Eun-soo was immersed in happiness. She remembered what he said, let's not hide anything from each other. Eun-soo felt a little bit insecure, because she approached him on purpose. She didn't want to hurt her. When Mi-jin saw her husband off to work, sent her husband off to work. So far, Mi-jin believed that Horan was raising Eunsu's baby. When her husband told her that Horan was living alone as she didn't have a grandchild, Mi-jin immediately told Eunsu that her daughter wasn't with Horan. Mi-jin even wanted to find justice for Eunsu. Horan promised to take care of your baby. Where is she now? Eunsu admitted to know it already, because Ji-min adopted her daughter. However, she couldn't tell the truth that she was Wooju's biological mother. That was why she approached and flirted with Ji-min in order to make them a family. Checking on the CCTV, he saw Se-mi, who sent him the photo. He asked her why she had the photo. Se-mi said she took the DNA test that proves Eunsu to be Wooju's biological mother. That was sure. Se-mi told him that Eunsu approached him on purpose. She wanted to stay with her own daughter. Ji-min didn't believe Se-mi. He had no conclusion about Eunsu. However, he knew Se-mi was trying to part him away from Eunsu. She was trying in vain though. He warned Se-mi not to do anything to Eunsu. Se-mi shouted at him, "She doesn't love you. Eunsu's just using you." Yeonjun heard it from outside. When Ji-min came to Eunsu's place, she was going out. He followed after her. She was looking for a new job. Eunsu wanted to be a fashion designer. Yeonjun helped her fix the lock. He wanted but couldn't ask her about Se-mi. When Yeonjun got it fixed, Eunsu got a message from Ji-min. He invited her over for dinner. Eunsu was very with Wooju. Observing her, he realized that she really cared for Wooju. When she gave him a bowl of rice, she blew to cool down the soup for Wooju. After dinner, they played Jenga. Ji-min still observed them. When Eunsu came to Ji-min's home, she saw him touching the blanket. He told her a story. Wooju was brought to the orphanage in this blanket. He didn't throw it away as he knew it was her parents made it for her. Though it was too old, Wooju didn't want to change it. She couldn't sleep without it. Ji-min seemed too angry when he said, "Whose her parents are? Why did they abandon her?" It was hard to say. Eunsu felt something. Before leaving, she asked him if Wooju agreed to let us together. He said Wooju really liked her. Eunsu held his arm. Ji-min's daughter saw them. She took a photo of them and sent it to her parents. They were very happy when he was dating someone. Ji-min took Eunsu home, his eyes full of thoughts. He wanted to make sure of something. Ji-min asked her if she loved him. She replied, "Of course, if I don't love you, I won't go out with you." Ji-min decided to buy into her. He entered her home. He tested her feelings by asking for a lovemaking. However, she was obsessed with her violent husband, so she wanted to button down by herself. Ji-min changed his mind. He didn't want to test her this way. Eunsu wondered why he acted like that. Ji-min showed her the photo. He asked her about it. "Is that your daughter?" Eunsu didn't know how to say, facing her silence. He wondered if she was Wooju. "Even if you said you knew nothing at all and you didn't approach me on purpose, I would still buy into you." She admitted that she knew from the beginning, because she wanted to be with her daughter. She tried to win his heart. Ji-min was shocked when everything was just her plan, which made he feel like everyone betraying him. He really loved, but it didn't matter. Ji-min couldn't accept it when she wanted to take Wooju back after years of abandoning her. Eunsu wanted to tell him the truth, yet, he refused to hear, as he lost belief in her. In his eyes, she already became a scary person, who flirted with him on purpose. Thus, he asked her not to see him and Wooju ever again. Ji-min was fooled by the one he loved again. Eunsu knew it was Horan's action, so she went to find Horan. Horan had a sense of triumph whenever Eunsu went to see her. She was waiting for one day when Eunsu knelt down before her. Eunsu didn't give up. She would try her best to protect her daughter from Kim Horan. Horan grew cross. She showed Eunsu the photos that Mr. Lee gave her. Life doesn't change. Do not totally believe in someone. Eunsu asked to see Mr. Lee. She asked her why he betrayed her. Why didn't he help her have a good life with her daughter? Mr. Lee saw someone observing them from afar, so he couldn't explain it to her. Horan was testing him. Finally, he had to say that he had no choice. Eunsu collapsed when she was betrayed. For the past time, she forgot her past. Everything was just like a dream. Eunsu couldn't trust him anymore. Again, she was all alone. Ji-min broke up with her. Mr. Lee betrayed her and she lost a chance to stay with her daughter. When Wooju called her, Eunsu said she was too busy to teach Wooju with art. Hearing Wooju talking to Eunsu, he snatched her phone and hung up the phone. Ji-min also asked her to stop calling Eunsu. "Do not bother Auntie Eunsu, she'll feel tired." Eunsu had no excuse to meet Wooju. She could only observe her daughter from afar. Eunsu didn't want to give up. She went to see Ji-min to apologize to him for approaching him on purpose. However, she claimed that she really loved him. Her feelings were true. However, he didn't believe her. Eunsu told him the truth that Wooju was taken away from her. Ji-min wondered where she was for the last 10 years. Eun-soo didn't know how to tell him that she was imprisoned. As she didn't answer him, he said she didn't deserve to be Woo-ju's mother. You have no right. Ji-min had always been digging into Kim Ho-ran's pictures. He found it so weird when she paid a lot for paintings of amateur artists. She was laundering money. His co-worker didn't agree, because her sense of art was appreciated. On the other hand, she was an influencer. How could she do such a thing? He even mentioned Ji-min that she was his savior. 10 years ago, she gave Ji-min a chance to work abroad. Ji-min was even more surprised. He was assigned to interview Kim Ho-ran. After the interview, he asked her, why did you help me 10 years ago? She said it was after she lost her son. To ease the pain, she focused on her work and she knew Ji-min was qualified. He recalled something at that time. He was learning about her son's case. Suddenly, he was sent abroad. This aroused suspicion in him. He went to the police department to ask an acquaintance for the photos of chairwoman Kim's daughter-in-law. Ho-ran realized Ji-min the one who learned about her son's death 10 years ago. She requested the prison governor not to let him see Eun-soo. She kept exclaiming that this world was small. After all, Woo-ju was adopted by him. Getting home after work, Ji-min saw Eun-soo waiting for him. He didn't want to go there. Eun-soo left after a long time of waiting. Se-mi appeared and mocked at Eun-soo. Se-mi asked her not to come again, otherwise Woo-ju would be so sad. Mr. Lee went to see Ho-ran. He was angry when she tried to part Eun-soo away from her daughter. He knew she shifted the blame on him and he had the evidences. Next, he let her hear the recordings that he found about her. No matter what, it wasn't good for her. 10 years ago when Eun-soo died of a hit and run, he dug into it and found the evidences to overthrow her. He contacted Ji-min and asked him for a talk. He believed that Ji-min could help Eun-soo out. Ji-min would see him after work. Eun-soo also wanted to see him. She wanted to tell him the truth. However, she went to her father's grave. Looking at her father's photo, she saw a bouquet. She thought Mr. Lee just came. She called him with anger, asking him not to come. Mr. Lee said, "Please believe me, I'll expose the truth." Eun-soo had a bad feeling about that. Eun-soo and Ji-min went to see Mr. Lee. Ji-min though it was their plan. When she was going to tell him the truth that she was imprisoned, suddenly Mr. Lee fell out of the rooftop. Eun-soo couldn't believe in her eyes. The rich in South Korea rules the country. Kim Ho-ran was one of them. Mr. Lee wanted to expose her crime, so she got rid of him. She was not worried at all. The police questioned Ji-min because Lee called Ji-min before death. At that time, Ji-min heard that it was Mr. Lee who denounced Kim Ho-ran. Mr. Lee couldn't survive. Eun-soo burst out crying. Her only helper was gone. His case was reported on TV. They believed that Mr. Lee took his own life due to depression. Ho-ran and Eun-soo watched the news. She asked Kim Woong if he found Mr. Lee's documents. Ji-min also ran to the police station to ask about his death. Eun-soo was also there. She claimed that Mr. Lee wouldn't take his own life, because he was taking care of his ill son and he asked to talk to her before his death. She showed the police his message in tears. However, the police didn't believe her. He said before Mr. Lee committed a suicide, he asked the doctor to take care of his son. Ji-min heard everything. He wanted to talk to her. First, he asked about her relationship with Mr. Lee. Also, he told her that Mr. Lee wanted to denounce Ho-ran and asked him to take care of her. Eun-soo could tell it was Ho-ran's scheme. She held her fist and ran to find Ho-ran. Se-mi also went to see her. She hoped Yeonjun would meet up with Ji-min's sister, in order to take Ji-min's sister to their side. Thanks to this, Ji-min's sister would speak high of her to his parents. Ho-ran agreed. Right after that, she asked a few things about Ji-min. Se-mi let Ho-ran know that Ji-min broke up with Eun-soo. Hearing the news, Ho-ran felt really satisfied. She looked so hateful. Se-mi didn't know why Ho-ran wanted to break Eun-soo's heart. Ji-min went to the crime scene to investigate. He stood on the rooftop and looked around. Seeing a truck from afar, he went straight to it. He called the truck owner to ask for the footage of his dash cam. Eun-soo went to Ho-ran's office. She wondered if Ho-ran got rid of Lee. Ho-ran required Eun-soo to give an evidence. "I'm not a murderer like you." "You're right, your people did it following your order." As soon as Ho-ran knew Mr. Lee denounced her, her face turned pale. Thanks to this, Eun-soo was so sure that Mr. Lee had evidences of Ho-ran's crime. Then she loudly asked Ho-ran, "What did Mr. Lee find out? You thought no one knew what you had done." Ho-ran calmly said that Eun-soo shouldn't have existed. "She brought bad luck to people around you. My son lost his life, so did Mr. Lee. It was all because of you. You have your daughter left. Find the evidences that Mr. Lee had." Ji-min found the footage. Due to the long distance, he couldn't see the one who pushed Lee off the building. When Mr. Lee fell off, there was a man standing on the floor. He left the building when Mr. Lee fell to the ground. There was someone else at the scene, based on the time of the footage. They could find those who came to the building. Reducing the number of suspects, Ji-min asked his coworker to silently learn about Mr. Lee's death and found how many people worked for Kim as a secretary. Ji-min immersed himself in thoughts. Mr. Lee was her former secretary, yet, he was on Eun-soo's side. When Eun-soo met Ho-ran in the competition, he suspected that she had something to do with Ho-ran. He called his police friend, asking about the records of the death of Ho-ran's son. Coincidentally, he was holding it in his hand. He sent Ji-min a photo. Ji-min realized Eun-soo. He went home and searched for the old documents, the letters that she wrote to him. It was Eun-soo who wrote those in the prison. Trying to recall it, he still held his opinion that Eun-soo committed unintentional killing when trying to defend herself. Hyun-kook asked him not to try in vain. 10 years ago, he went to the female prison many times to dig in the case. However, Eun-soo refused to see him. If she was innocent, why did she refuse to see him? Hyun-kook believed that she had lied. When Eun-soo came home after Mr. Lee's funeral, she saw Yeon-jun waiting for her. He knew why she wanted to stay with Ji-min, also knew that she was imprisoned. He believed her, because he loved her. Eun-soo was moved by his wish to help. Everyone stayed away from her when they knew she was a prisoner. Yeon-jun was different. He wanted to help her claim her innocence. Yeon-jun knew very well that she was too kind to harm anyone. Eun-soo asked him if she really caused the death of someone. Yeon-jun still chose to believe her. The next day, he went to find Ji-min. Yeon-jun said he knew everything. Also, he claimed that Eun-soo deliberately didn't lie to him. Though he liked Eun-soo, he couldn't take her to America with him, because he knew she didn't like him back. Then he gave Ji-min a file, which he found at Eun-soo's home. He took it to give Ji-min. Ji-min went to his parents' home to pick Woo-ju up. She didn't go to extra class for a few days. Woo-ju was so sad. Touching the necklace that Eun-soo gave her, Woo-ju really missed Eun-soo. Ji-min asked Woo-ju to return it to Eun-soo. Woo-ju didn't want to. She put on the earphones, referring that she didn't want to hear. His police friend called him when he just returned home. The police had a recording of Eun-soo 10 years ago. Ji-min ran out of home. He needed to confirm something before leaving the home. He visited Woo-ju's room. As Woo-ju was motionless, he took her to the hospital. On the other hand, Ji-min's mother went to see Woo-ju. Woo-ju gave her Eun-soo's address. She wondered why Eun-soo broke up with Ji-min. At that time, she got a phone call, hearing that Woo-ju was hospitalized. Eun-soo followed her there. Woo-ju's asthma got worse due to a flu. That was why she had difficulties in breathe. Ji-min's mother let Eun-soo visit Woo-ju. As soon as Woo-ju saw Eun-soo, she turned her head away. A moment later, she burst out crying and said, "I really miss you. Why don't you even text me? Why don't you come to see me once? I wait for you every day." Eun-soo couldn't hold back her tears. She told Ji-min the truth that Ho-ran took Woo-ju away when Eun-soo was imprisoned. Ho-ran promised to take care of Woo-ju. After that, he ordered Mr. Lee to eliminate her baby. Mr. Lee couldn't do it, so he brought Woo-ju to an orphanage. That was how Ji-min met Woo-ju there. Mr. Lee was murdered. He wouldn't take his own life. Woo-ju begged him to trust her. Ji-min remembered how she fooled him. He didn't dare to believe her words. There would lies after lies. The more he thought about it, the angrier he became. Eun-soo said she would give up on her first purpose. She begged him to let her take care of Woo-ju. Ji-min didn't agree even though she just asked to see Woo-ju. If Eun-soo was telling the truth, Woo-ju would be in anger if she stayed with Eun-soo. Thus, he couldn't let her come near Woo-ju. To confirm it, Ji-min went to the orphanage. He begged the director to tell him everything about Woo-ju. The director could feel his sincerity. He let Ji-min know that Mr. Lee asked him not to tell anyone about Woo-ju. Thanks to this clue, Ji-min was so sure that Mr. Lee opposed against Kim Ho-ran. He packed a few things and brought them to Woo-ju. At that time, he saw many letters on his table. Those were the letters which were returned. The recipient was Ji-min. Each letter was Eun-soo's hope. She wrote letter to him asking for his help to claim her innocence. She didn't murder her husband. Moreover, she wanted to protect her child. In the last letter, Eun-soo said her baby was taken away. Her baby was her motivation to live. Reading those, Ji-min realized he was wrong. Eun-soo didn't abandon her child. He decided to keep digging into the case 10 years ago. Next, he brought the recording to see an audio expert. Indeed, there was something wrong. It was edited. Ji-min came to Ho-ran's art exhibition. He asked her a sensitive question. "Is it true that your daughter-in-law murdered your son?" She said it was long ago. Ji-min said there were many suspicions about his death. How could a thick and weak woman overthrow a big man? Even if Eun-soo really wanted to murder him, she just tried to defend herself. What a coincidence. Ho-ran sent Ji-min abroad when he was digging into the case, which interrupted his investigation. She calmly answered, "Don't you thank me for giving you such a chance." She even told a bare-faced lie, that she didn't know he had been digging into it. When she finished her words, he showed her the letters that Eun-soo wrote to him from prison. All of her letters were returned and her letters to her were lost. Ji-min was pretty sure that Mr. Lee did it following Ho-ran's order. Next, he mentioned the death of Mr. Lee, who was her former secretary. Mr. Lee asked to see him, yet, he fell to death as soon as Ji-min came. It seemed that someone didn't want them to see each other. Ji-min was so sure that he would find the real culprit. When Eun-soo decided to leave her daughter, she went to see Woo-ju for the last time. Ho-ran also went to the hospital. She said she wanted to see her granddaughter. Ho-ran was so cunning. To cover up her crime, she used her granddaughter to threaten her daughter-in-law. Woo-ju was Eun-soo's limit. This time, they wouldn't step back. Ho-ran said she wanted to visit her granddaughter and she wanted to take Woo-ju with him. Actually, she wanted to show off her power to Ji-min and Eun-soo. Knowing Ho-ran's intention, Eun-soo immediately reacted to it. Seeing how Eun-soo worried about Woo-ju, she mentioned her late son. "You murdered my son, you're a criminal, you don't deserve to be a mother." Ji-min affirmed that Eun-soo was the one he loved. That was why Ho-ran had a right to visit Woo-ju. Putting his arm around Eun-soo, Ji-min asked her to leave. She couldn't stay when Ji-min kicked her out. Yet, she wouldn't spare them. The battle just begun. Ji-min's family heard what he said. Woo-ju threw herself into Eun-soo's lap. Woo-ju sincerely explained that how much she missed Woo-ju. She also asked if Eun-soo would keep seeing her. Eun-soo didn't know how to say. She hugged Woo-ju. Se-mi stood in a corner and heard Ji-min said he loved Eun-soo. Tears rolled on her face. He obviously knew Eun-soo's past. But why did he choose to stay with her? Eun-soo was about to leave. However, Ho-ran's visit made her worried about Woo-ju's safety. She changed her mind, couldn't rest assured when thinking that Ho-ran would come again. Eun-soo was determined to protect her child. Again, she begged Ji-min to let her stay. He agreed. Moreover, he wouldn't let Ho-ran do whatever she wanted to make Woo-ju happy. He asked Eun-soo for a deal. They would act as a couple, which was for protecting Woo-ju. Ho-ran stopped paying for the ads at Ji-min's company. Next, she found the evidences collected by Mr. Lee. Ji-min asked to see the prison guard during the time Woo-ju was in jail. To avoid being sued for misusing her position, she admitted that the prison governor ordered her to do it. However, the prison governor quit her job long ago. The police officer saw Mr. Lee holding a file before his death. However, he couldn't find it among the remains. They saw a suspect through the CCTV. However, he used different license plates. The police couldn't trace him down. Ho-ran began to use Se-mi. She said Se-mi couldn't win Eun-soo. That made her boiled with indignation. Se-mi went to see Ji-min's sister and promised her a chance to see Yeonjun to ask for something. Se-mi wanted to know where he was. As soon as seeing Eun-soo with his parents, Se-mi lost her composure. She asked Eun-soo to leave him. Eun-soo took a step forward and said, "You're an irresponsible mother. You're the reason why Woo-ju blacked out. Someone like you don't have the right to be her mother." Ji-min found the current workplace of the former prison governor. He went to Ho-ran's company to give her a warning. First, he could prove that the recording of 10 years ago was edited. Eun-soo wasn't the culprit. Ji-min also took there the prison governor in charge when Eun-soo was imprisoned. She was currently working for Ho-ran. Earlier, he didn't find the connection between them, but when they were both there, Ho-ran couldn't smile. Ji-min was smarter than she thought. Ho-ran acted as a good person in front of people. She attended the interview. Ji-min thought she was trying to cover the truth that she murdered her own son. She held a press conference and acted as a pitiful mother. She even told everyone about her granddaughter. She even told like that after Eun-soo murdered her son, she abandoned her own daughter. Her action pushed Eun-soo to hell. Ji-min analyzed her action. Ho-ran admitted Woo-ju's existence in front of everyone. She was picking a quarrel. She wanted to make Eun-soo withdraw and give up on finding the truth about Mr. Lee's death. Ji-min also let Eun-soo know that he was the reporter who she tried to reach 10 years ago. They couldn't contact each other. All the letters she wrote to him were returned. It was Kim Ho-ran's action. Eun-soo also revealed the truth that she ran away from her violent husband by moving to a new place. However, he could still find her. He continued beating her. As she was pregnant, she picked up a knife to defend herself. She warned him not to come closer to her. However, she didn't murder him, because she swooned away. When she woke up, she saw a bloody knife in her hand and her husband was gone. She was convicted of a murder, not a self-defense. The nurse didn't take the stand. Her father lost his life when trying to help claim her innocence. Eun-soo wanted to take her life many times. Eun-soo was the only reason for her to keep going on her life. From then on, Woo-ju became her only hope for life. Eun-soo found the nurse who didn't keep her words to take the stand. She asked the nurse to help her. However, Ho-ran's power was large enough to make her. Ji-min found out that Mr. Lee took 2 DNA tests. The first test was the blood relationship between Eun-soo and Woo-ju. And the other must have been related to Ho-ran, maybe also a test of blood relationship. Before his death Mr. Lee left a series of number, which was certain to be a key factor of the case. When Ho-ran heard it, she sent Kim Woong to dig into it. He said he got his job done. so he didn't care about the others. Wooju's auntie took her to see Saimi. Wooju didn't like it, so she called Unsu. Saimi wasn't happy with that. She tried to suppress her anger and promised to be nice to Wooju. When Saimi asked about Wooju's necklace, she said Unsu gave it to her. That shamed Saimi. Wooju told Saimi that she wasn't happy when seeing Saimi again. On the contrary, she missed Unsu a lot, because Wooju liked Unsu too much. Saimi found another tutor for her. She wanted her to forget about Unsu. Wooju still preferred Unsu. Saimi was deep into her world. She didn't realize that Wooju wasn't happy. Wooju wanted to draw with Saimi. However, Saimi wasn't good at drawing. It would be more fun to draw with your tutor. Wooju felt disappointed. Seeing how sad Wooju was, Saimi agreed. Saimi got a phone call during the talk. Wooju remembered when she was sick. She heard her mother talking on the phone. Saimi left home right after the phone call. Wooju was left home alone. Saimi received the phone call and rushed back to her company. Saimi called Wooju's auntie, but she didn't pick up the phone. Wooju said, "Go, Mom, I can get home by myself." Thus, Saimi headed out to her company. Horan was planned it. When Wooju was alone, Horan took her away. That was why Horan picked up the phone when Unsu called Wooju. She also sent a video of Wooju sailing a boat. Horan asked Mr. Lee to throw Wooju into the river. She wanted to finish it. Woosu immediately set off there to find her daughter. However, Horan didn't do anything to Wooju yet. She just wanted to lure Unsu get there and make her leave this city. Otherwise she would vent her anger on Wooju. Horan was confident that the police couldn't do anything to her. Unsu wanted to compromise. As long as she left, people around her wouldn't be in danger. But Jimin was even more determined. He wanted to marry her. Horan wouldn't let them get what they wanted. She sent Saimi a letter. Saimi wanted to give up, no intention to attend their wedding. Horan knew it. Saimi went to the wedding to see Wooju. Saimi also exchanged words with Kim Horan. Wooju heard they talked about Unsu like a murderer. She reached her goal. In front of all the guests, Wooju asked if Unsu was a murderer. Everyone thought she was making a trouble. Wu said her mother said so. Unsu didn't know how to explain it to her. Woosu got scared and ran away alone. Taking a few steps, she fell on the ground. Everyone took her to the hospital. The doctor gave Jimin the health exam result. Her disease got worse, which was more difficult to control. Jimin asked Unsu to get home first, pull herself together. When Wooju got better, he would explain it to her later. She needed time to accept the truth. Unsu wanted to talk to her by herself. At that time, she would be honest. On the other hand, Yeonjun questioned Saimi. Why did you say something like that to Wooju? Saimi said she was wrong. She just wanted to stop Horan from destroying their wedding and she didn't know why Wooju was there. Yeonjun got it. It was Horan's plan. Waking up, Wooju refused to hear anything her father said. She turned her back against Unsu. Unsu apologized to her. I'm sorry for not telling you. I was afraid that you wouldn't like me. Unsu promised her not to do any wrongdoings. She swore to keep her words. After explaining it to Wooju, Unsu went home. Jimin stayed to take care of Wooju. Saimi came to the hospital with a sense of guilt. She explained it to Jimin that she didn't intend to do it. It was Horan who used her. Jimin didn't bother to listen to her explanation. He hung up the phone. At that time, his family saw Saimi. Jimin's mother gave her a slap. How dare you destroy my son's wedding? Saimi said Jimin's mother was harsh on her since she had a miscarriage. Unsu forgot to give Jimin some clothes. She encountered a suspicious-looking man. He was her late husband's driver. When he talked to Unsu, he looked around to see if police was around. He said Mr. Lee went to see him before his death. Jimin contacted him when he got Mr. Lee's directory. She wondered if he knew the meaning of the series 6049. The driver wanted to tell her what he knew. Actually, he had questions about Mr. Lee's death. Before he died, he told the driver one thing. Horan wasn't the biological mother of Unsu's husband. At the point in time, Horan burnt down all the evidences that Mr. Lee found, including the DNA test of her and Unsu's husband, the recording which was the same as what the driver told Unsu. After hearing the truth, Unsu made a plan to cope with Horan. Wooju's health got worse. Be careful and take good care of her. Currently, she had to take medicine. If the medicine didn't work, Wooju would have only 1 year left. Jimin was so shocked, he didn't want to tell Unsu about it. He lied to her that Wooju was fine. The doctor began the treatment. However, Wooju had a strong reaction to it. She even threw it up. The medicine didn't work. Wooju needed an organ transplant operation and the organ must be donated a blood relationship. Unsu stood outside. She wanted to check the compatibility. However, Wooju's guardian was Jimin. The doctor said someone with a blood relationship could donate his organ. Jimin looked at Unsu. They didn't dare to tell her that Unsu was Wooju's mother. Wooju wasn't in a good health. When Horan knew her granddaughter fell sick, she coldly asked Unsu, I heard that your daughter would die soon. It's your fault when you didn't leave as I asked. Your daughter is suffering from what you did. Eun-soo couldn't stand it when she cursed her child. She grabbed her hair, shoved her to the ground and grabbed her by the neck. Kim Woong pulled Eun-soo away. He was about to punch Eun-soo. Horan asked him to stop. Could it be that Kim Woong was her real son? When she left, Eun-soo held her hair tight. She took it for a DNA test. Woo-ju knew she was seriously ill. Ji-min comforted her that would be fine. Woo-ju asked him about Eun-soo. Ji-min said that when he heard about it, he also had the same reaction. When I calmed down, I chose to believe her. Ji-min told Woo-ju that Eun-soo was pregnant. She unintentionally committed a crime when she tried to protect her baby. When Woo-ju asked him about her baby, the nurse told Ji-min that the result was out. Ji-min's organ wasn't compatible. Eun-soo asked for Yeonjun's help. She was tested a compatible organ donor. Eun-soo wanted to save Woo-ju. Woo-ju heard their talk. She raised a doubt. Eun-soo and Ji-min went out for a talk. The thing was that she wasn't Woo-ju's mother on paper. Ji-min and Eun-soo didn't get married yet. If he told Woo-ju the truth about Eun-soo, she would be in danger, because this operation was high risk. If something bad happened, she would lose her life. Eun-soo was determined to save Woo-ju. Ji-min didn't want her to risk her life. However, he didn't want to see Woo-ju to be in pain. He cried outside of his daughter's room at midnight. Kim Woong said Eun-soo was trying to prove her blood relationship with Woo-ju. The DNA test result confirmed it. When Horan heard the news, she used Eun-soo's disadvantage. She went to see the director of the hospital, asking him not to let Eun-soo donate her organ. Horan was trying every way to stop her. She even told the director let Ji-min know. Ji-min went to see her. Horan claimed that Woo-ju was her only granddaughter. She promised to take Woo-ju abroad for a better treatment. There, Woo-ju's life would be saved. Yet, she had one condition: that Eun-soo would get out of the sight of her and Woo-ju for good. Because of the danger of the surgery, he chose to believe Horan. He wanted both Eun-soo and Woo-ju would be alive. When Ji-min wanted to break a connection with Eun-soo, Horan didn't keep her words. Yeonjun agreed to help Eun-soo find Horan's weakness. First, he went to see Horan's rival to ask for it. Over the years, she had been trying to see an infamous artist. Horan spent 2 billion won to buy his paintings. Yeonjun could tell that Horan had something to do with that artist. Horan invited Yeonjun over for dinner. He dropped wine on his pants on purpose. In order to make an excuse to leave the table, he sneaked into her house to find a clue. Yeonjun believed that she kept something in the basement. When he tried to open the door, Kim Woong appeared. Horan's wrongdoings were reported on TV. Before Kim Woong appeared, Yeonjun did get into the room. She kept the paintings that she bought with a high price there. She didn't preserve them, though she paid billions of won for them. Ji-min did an investigation on the artist. He found out that the artist didn't exist. She lied about it to evade the taxes. When she went to her company, the prosecutors came to arrest her. She was angry when her plan failed. She used the blood relationship to control Eun-soo. Eun-soo repaid her with a slap, then gave her a file. It was the DNA test results of her and Eun-soo's late husband. There had no blood relationship. Therefore, Horan and Eun-soo had no relationship at all. Eun-soo said the fight just begun. Horan couldn't do anything anymore. The police also started to investigate her. However, a rich woman like her could get out of it easily. They said there were not enough evidences to convict her. The police caught the culprit who murdered Mr. Lee. Though he was caught in the camera, he denied it. Ji-min showed Eun-soo the photos of his belongings. She noticed a watch among those. It belonged to her late husband. In the end, he was honest with Ji-min. She said it was him who murdered Mr. Lee. However, he had nothing to do with Eun-soo's late husband. When he arrived at the scene of the crime, Eun-soo's husband already died. Horan was the one behind this. He gave them a recording to prove Eun-soo's innocence. Horan would be taken down soon. The police just got the arrest warrant before they set off. Horan went to the police station to tune herself in. She confessed her guilt. She revealed the reason why she took the life of Eun-soo's husband, because her husband was violent. Her son didn't want her to suffer anymore. As a result, he unintentionally caused the death of his father. That was why she took over his company. She really loved her son. However, he became stranger and stranger. He abandoned himself to wine. She felt like her dutiful son was already gone. Thus, she paid someone to take his life. Actually, she was just making up a story. Eun-soo visited her father's grave. She told him the good news. Ji-min let his family heard the TV news that claimed Eun-soo's innocence. They felt sorry for her. They let Eun-soo come to see Woo-ju and told Woo-ju that Eun-soo was innocent. Woo-ju watched the news and apologized to her. They hugged each other. Kim Woong came to see Eun-soo. He wanted to tell her the truth. Eun-soo looked at him. His glance seemed very similar. Everything was too late. He suddenly changed his facial expression. Should have eliminated both you and your husband off together. It was Kim Woong who murdered her husband. Eun-soo wanted to run. Yet, it was too late. Ji-min came in time and rescued her. He took her to the hospital. She tried to tell Ji-min that the murderer was Kim Woon, then she fell into a coma. Ji-min stayed by her side until she woke up. However, Eun-soo only wanted to know if she was good enough for the organ transplant. Ji-min comforted her. Your safety is the most important. Don't worry about something else. Don't worry about anything else. The police was investigating. Kim Woon would be punished by the law. Eun-soo didn't get it. Why did Kim Woon wanted to end her life? When Ji-min helped Eun-soo to relocate the jar of her father's ash, he found a letter under the jar. There was a USB that revealed the truth about her father's dad. It was also Kim Woon who murdered him. The lawyer told Horan about Kim Woon's attack on Eun-soo. He suggested her shift all the blame on Kim Woon. Once he was caught for such a crime, Horan could beg for a relaxation of punishment. Horan refused. She said the one who murdered her son was the man wearing a hat. She even asked the lawyer to defend Kim Woon. Horan didn't care about herself. Ji-min's parents visited Eun-soo. Seeing the wounds in her face, she said she considered Eun-soo her own daughter, which moved Eun-soo a lot. Eun-soo didn't call someone mother for such a long time. Ji-min's father also said he considered Eun-soo his own daughter. They adored Eun-soo very much. When Ji-min picked up a phone call, his co-worker announced that the paintings were reclaimed. Ji-min and the police did a research on the paintings. They found a secret. There was a signature of the artist on all paintings. However, the signature was easy to wipe off. The other parts of the paintings were unable to wipe off. Ji-min and the officer went to Horan's basement. There was a mess. The found Kim Woon was drawing and a photo of Horan and a baby. When Kim Woon was caught, someone was happy, yet, someone was so sad. Eun-soo sighed with relief. Horan teared up. Her memories flooded back. She remembered Eun-soo's husband, who beat Kim Woon up all the time. When she saw the wounds on Kim Woon's face, she felt in pain. That was why she had a feud. Seeing her reaction, Ki-byum said, "Are you crying for him? You must have been his mother." Horan still denied it. Ki-byum threw the bottle of wine against the wall. Ki-byum knew everything in advance. That was why he beat Kim Woon up. He knew Horan was trying to take him down and let Kim Woon replace him. Ki-byum wanted to keep his position, so he was about to get rid of Kim Woon. In order to protect her son, Horan threatened Ki-byum, "If you dare to hurt him, I'll end your life." Horan tried to find a way to protect Kim Woon. She said her son didn't do anything wrong. "Do not touch my son." The truth was exposed. Kim Woon was Horan's child by a previous marriage. To launder money, Kim Woon took a false name as Artist Kim. They faked the transaction. Artist Kim was Kim Woon. He drew those paintings. Thanks to this trick, she could legally transfer lots of money to Kim Woon. The most important was Wooju's operation. The doctor told Ji-min before the operation, Eun-soo registered as an organ donor. If she lost her life during the operation, she would donate the other parts to those who in need. Ji-min walked like a lost soul. He saw Eun-soo looking at Wooju through the window, so that he decided to tell Wooju before he could tell her. She admitted to know that he adopted her when he divorced Se-mi. She overheard their talk, yet, she pretended not to know. Ji-min couldn't hold back his tears. He should have lived happily like the others. However, she was very understanding at such a young age, taking the chance. Ji-min told her that Eun-soo was her mother. Wooju was shocked. She read the message sent by Eun-soo. Wooju teared up remembering the first time she met Eun-soo. Eun-soo didn't abandon her. She loved Wooju a lot. When Eun-soo recovered, she visited Horan. Time scoured away everything. Horan was still so stubborn. She tried to save her son regardless of everything. Eun-soo asked Horan why she tried to destroy her life and take the life of her baby. Finally, Horan gave her an answer, "Because you lied to me." Eun-soo was violently abused so that she didn't let them know she was pregnant to protect her baby. However, Horan could still know. She thought Eun-soo was a fraud. Eun-soo was nothing in her eyes. However, she was bearing Ki-byum's child. She didn't want Ki-byum to have a child. Eun-soo kept it from her. Eun-soo also unmasked her. Horan always considered her a beggar, not a member of the family. After marrying Ki-byum, her life was controlled. Since Eun-soo got pregnant, everything got out of control. Eun-soo escaped from Horan. She loudly asked Eun-soo to shut up. Horan didn't address her fault. She still blamed Eun-soo for everything. She definitely refused to apologize. For this reason, Eun-soo would send her to jail for good. She would have to suffer in cell for her whole life. Eun-soo wouldn't forgive her. Horan would experience the prison life. At that time, she would understand what Eun-soo had been through. At night, the whole family had dinner together before the operation. They wished Eun-soo and Wooju would return in safe. She sang a song to make them happy. Eun-soo kept looking at Wooju, however. Wooju avoided her glance. Wooju needed time to accept the truth. Throwing back the last time, Wooju realized her mother always stayed by her side and protected her. Wooju opened her heart. The whole family enjoyed cake and took a photo together. Everyone gathered around Wooju's bed. Mi-jin was afraid that she couldn't Eun-soo again. She told Eun-soo, "See you around." Eun-soo wiped her tears. Ji-min went to talk to Eun-soo. His heart would be broken if one of them was gone. Ji-min couldn't speak it out. He didn't dare to face her. Eun-soo touched his face. She comforted him. "It's good to see you." It's a miracle when she could stay by her child. The time with him makes her happy the most. Ji-min confessed his love to her. Eun-soo requited his love. Eun-soo and Wooju were taken to the operation room. Ji-min promised to protect her no matter what happened and left a kiss on her cheek. Eun-soo knew Wooju was scared. She said she would always be by Eun-soo's side. Eun-soo no longer felt intense. Wooju thanked Eun-soo. People around teared up. Looking at Wooju, Eun-soo was moved to tears. Wooju held her mother's hand. During the operation, their family was extremely anxious. They were under anesthetic. Eun-soo gave Wooju a firefly. The light would take Wooju out of the dark. They recalled their good old days. She hoped the firefly would lead Wooju's way in the dark. No matter what happened, the happy memories of them would be kept in their hearts for their whole life. They hugged each other. A year later, Wooju totally recovered. Ji-min was cooking her favorite dish. Yeonjun achieved many rewards. Se-mi also became his manager. Ji-min took Wooju to see her late grandfather. Eun-soo was already there. Ji-min relocated her father's ash next to Lee. They lived happily ever after. Happy ending. Thanks for watching. See you next time.